Hi, I'm James Preece, the UK's leading dating coach, and this is the Love Machine podcast. We cover all the different ways to bring more love into your life, smarter dating, better relationships, and more confidence. Let's go. Hello there and welcome back to the Love Machine podcast. I'm James Preece, the UK's leading dating coach, and today I'm trying something a bit special to celebrate the fact that so many of my clients are getting married. Yep, some got married last month, some are getting married this month, and I could not be happier. So I wanted to give you a bit of a different episode. No guest, no interview, just me giving you really honest dating coaching advice in the same way I would as if you were to come to me for one-to-one coaching. So today I'm going to be talking about something that has caused more confusion, frustration, and perhaps emotional snacking than almost anything else in modern dating. Dating apps. Yep, those little romantic slot machines on your phone where hope goes in, weird opening messages come out, and every so often someone will ask what you up to with the charm of a damp sock. Now, I know exactly how this usually starts. You download the app feeling positive, you think, right, this time I'm going to do it properly. You pick a few photos where you look alive, write something that sounds vaguely fun, maybe add a prompt about Sunday roasts, travel, or being fluent in sarcasm, and then you start swiping. Now at first it can feel quite exciting because there are all these new faces out there, all this potential, and maybe even someone who looks like they own both emotional intelligence and a decent winter coat, which frankly is a strong start. Then reality kicks in. You match with people who never reply, you message someone and the conversation dies quicker than a houseplant in a student flat. You get likes from people you would not meet if they were the last person in the Nando's queue, and someone asks how your weekend was before vanishing like they've been called into witness protection. Before long, you're sitting there thinking, is it me? Is it them? Is it the algorithm? Has romance been replaced by admin with better lighting? If that sounds familiar, this episode is for you. Because today I'm going to walk you through the dating app mistakes that might be quietly costing you great matches. And I want to say this right at the start. If your dating apps are not working, it does not mean that you're unattractive, undateable, or destined to spend every Saturday night watching crime documentaries with a family-sized bag of crisps and a suspicious amount of emotional investment in the detective. It usually means that your profile, your messages, your choice or your strategy just need tweaking. And this is good news because, believe it or not, as a dating coach, I know that these things can be improved. Dating apps are tools. They're not some magic spell. They don't know your heart, your humour, your values, your story, your warmth, or how brilliant you are once someone actually gets to know you. The app only knows what you show it, and most people are accidentally showing the wrong things. So let's get that sorted out right now, before you delete Hinge for the 14th time and announce to your friends that you're done with dating until next Tuesday. The first mistake is that most people treat dating apps like a lottery. They will put up a few photos, write a quick bio, swipe when they're bored, and hope that the right person somehow appears. Hope is lovely in romance, but it is much less useful as a dating app strategy. If you want dating apps to work, you need to treat your profile like a shop window. Now, I don't mean you need to become fake, polished, perfect, or so curated you look like you're applying to be the face of mineral water. Nobody wants to date a brochure. But your profile does need to give someone a reason to stop, a reason to smile, a reason to think, hang on a minute, this person looks interesting. I'd like to know more. This is the first job of your profile. It's not there to tell your entire life story, prove that you're a catch to the whole internet, or explain every emotional chapter since 2009. It is there to create enough interest for the right person to want to start a conversation. And this brings me to one of the biggest areas where people also go wrong, which, surprise, surprise, is photos. Your photos are doing much more than showing what you look like. They are telling a story. They are saying, this is my energy, this is my lifestyle, and this is what it might be like to spend time with me. So, if your photos are blurry, old, serious, or all taken in the same corner of your house, you are making it harder for someone to feel anything. Dating decisions are emotional. People just don't look at a profile and think, is this person technically acceptable? They think, could I imagine sitting across from them? Would I feel safe with them? Could I kiss them? Would this be fun? Do they seem warm? Do they seem like they have a life that I want to step into? This is why photos matter. And let's be honest, some dating app photos are doing people absolutely no favours. Too many selfies is the first problem that I see. 1 selfie is fine. 5 selfies starts to look like you've been held hostage by your front camera and are trying to send clues. Then, sorry, particularly to ladies, we have the sunglasses issue. If your pictures have sunglasses, nobody knows what you look like. You might look cool and sexy, but you also might look like you're trying to hide from Interpol or trying to sell timeshares in Marbella. Group pictures can be quite tricky too. Now, I know that some dating coaches will tell you that a group shot is fine, it shows that you're sociable, but if your first photo looks like a police lineup at a wedding, people are not going to play Where's Wally with your love life. They will just swipe away and hope the next profile requires less detective work. Then, I hate to say this, we have old photos. And you know when a photo is old. You know if that photo could legally vote, it could probably retire from active dating service. Your photos need to look like you now, the attractive, confident, current version of you. Because if you use old photos to get the date starts with a tiny little trust problem. The other person might still like you, but they're also thinking, that's not quite what I expected. And that, believe it or not, is not the energy that we want. Then there are corporate photos. A smart photo can be useful, especially if you're professional, but if every photo looks like it belongs on LinkedIn, people may respect you while feeling absolutely no desire to flirt with you. They may endorse you for project management, but that's about it. You need to demonstrate warmth, life and variety. Ideally, your profile should include a clear smiling headshot, a full body photo, something social, something active or lifestyle based, and something that shows your personality. That might be a hobby, a place you love, or a moment that feels real. You want a photo where your face says, I am a person with joy in my life, rather than I'm about to renew my car insurance. The second big mistake overall is sounding like everybody else. I'm going to say a few classic profile phrases, and I want you to mentally tick them off if you've ever used any of them. Are you ready for this? This is particularly my favourite. I love travelling. I enjoy good food. I don't take myself too seriously. I enjoy spending time with my family and friends. Looking for someone genuine. Partner in crime. Sunday roasts and long walks. Equally happy in a pub or a nice restaurant. How did you get on with that? There is nothing wrong with any of these things. You can love travelling, you can enjoy food, and you can absolutely want someone genuine. Fair enough. I would in fact be slightly worried if you were actively looking for someone fake, slippery and emotionally unavailable. Although judging by some apps, there is certainly plenty of stock available. The problem is that these phrases are just too vague. They don't create a picture, they don't give someone much to respond to, and they definitely don't show your personality. So instead of saying, I love food, you might say, I'm happiest trying tiny restaurants where the waiter judges my spice tolerance. That tells me more. Instead of saying, I love travel, you might say, currently choosing my next trip based on food, sunshine, and whether I can justify buying a ridiculous hat. That gives someone to grab onto. And instead of saying, I don't take myself too seriously, show it. Say something playful. Tell a tiny little story. Or give someone a flavour of what dating you might feel like. Because saying you're funny is not the same as being funny. It's like saying, I'm mysterious. The moment you say it, you sound like you own a cape. A great dating profile should make it easy for the right person to start a conversation. If there is nothing specific in there, people either send hey or they just don't bother. Then everyone complains that nobody makes any effort. When sometimes people would make more effort if we gave them something obvious in a way that they can begin. And the third mistake I see is trying to appeal to everybody. This is such a big one because a lot of people make their profiles incredibly safe. They don't want to put anybody off, so they try to keep everything neutral. Neutral photos, neutral bio, neutral prompts, neutral hobbies, neutral energy. It's all so beige and boring. Dating profile by Magnolia Paint. Then they wonder why nobody feels strong enough to message them. The goal is not to appeal to everyone. The goal is to be recognisable to the right person. That means that your profile should have a point of view. You can be warm and still be specific. You can be open-minded and still have personality. And you can want a relationship while still having a sense of humour. When you try to appeal to everybody, you often end up attracting nobody in particular. So ask yourself this: what would the right person love about me? And is that actually showing on my profile? Because if your best qualities are hidden, the right people may be swiping past you without ever knowing what they missed. That happens all the time. And I'll give you a quick example about it. Now, I once worked with a client who was absolutely brilliant in real life. She was warm, funny, clever, successful, and really, really interesting. The sort of person who had great stories and a lovely energy. But her dating profile made her look fine. That was the problem. It was fine. Fine is the enemy of attraction. Fine is what you say about a sandwich from a train station. She had a few nice photos and a bio that said that she liked travel, food and family. There was nothing offensive, nothing wrong, and also nothing memorable whatsoever. When I spoke to her during our coaching sessions, she told me that she loved old jazz bars, terrible puns, last-minute theatre tickets, and finding the best tiramisu in any city that she visited. I remember saying to her, "So why is none of that on your profile?" She said, "Well, I don't want to sound too much." And there it was. She had hidden the very things that made her attractive because she was trying to be acceptable. We rewrote the profile so it actually sounded like her. We changed the photos so they showed warmth and life, added proper conversation hooks, and made the whole profile feel less like a CV and more like a window into her world. And the quality of her matches changed very quickly. Not because she became a different person, but because she finally showed the person that she already was. That is the secret of good dating coaching, and that's what dating coaching does. It helps people stop hiding in plain sight. The next mistake I see is leading with negativity. Now, I completely understand why people do this because dating can be frustrating. You might sometimes get ghosted, people lie, people mess you around, and people say they want a relationship, then behave like replying to a message requires approval from 3 departments and a priest. So it is tempting to put little warnings in your profile. No time wasters. No drama. Don't match if you can't hold a conversation. Sick of games. Swipe left if you're just here for validation. Now, you might be right. You might have had bad experiences and your frustration may be completely valid, but the right person reading your profile doesn't know the backstory. They only feel the energy that you're giving out. If the energy feels bitter, defensive, or exhausted, they will back away, I promise you. Your boundaries matter and your standards matter, but they need to be communicated through clarity rather than irritation. So instead of saying, "No time wasters please," you could say, "I'm looking to meet someone kind, emotionally available, and ready to actually make plans." That feels very, very different. Instead of saying, "Don't match if you can't hold a conversation," try something like, "Big fan of proper conversation, playful banter, and messages that contain more than 3 letters." That says the same thing with lots more charm. You can filter people without sounding fed up, and the right people are attracted to warmth and clarity. 5th mistake is having no emotional hook. A lot of profiles are technically fine, but they don't make anyone feel anything at all. They list facts, job, gym, travel, family, dog, coffee, wine, Netflix, and repeat until everyone loses the will to flirt. Facts are useful, but feelings create interest. A good profile should give someone a sense of what it would be like to know you. Would dating you feel fun, safe, exciting, easy, playful, grounded, adventurous, warm? What emotion does your profile create right now? If the answer is, "I'm not sure," that might be the problem. A strong dating profile has tiny little emotional invitations in it. For example, I'm happiest on a Sunday when I've done something outdoorsy enough to justify a roast dinner. That tells me lifestyle, humour and a possible date idea. Or looking for someone who can make me laugh in the supermarket queue and still have a proper conversation over dinner. That tells me what matters. Or perhaps you could try, my friends would say I'm loyal, curious and dangerously enthusiastic about finding hidden food spots. That shows warmth and personality. These details help people imagine you, and imagination matters in dating. If they can imagine the date, they are far more likely to want that date. The sixth mistake is messaging with either no energy or far too much energy. There are two extremes here. The first is the low effort message. Hey, hi, how are you? Good weekend? Again, these are not evil. They're not as bad as people make out, but they're not exactly making anyone clutch their pearls and shout, "Finally, romance lives!" Then there is the other extreme, which is the essay, the huge message. The opener that reads like it's been through 3 drafts, a focus group and a nervous breakdown. You don't need to perform, and you don't need to be hilarious every time. You just need to be specific, warm and easy to reply to. Here's a really simple formula: observation, personality, easy question. So if someone has a photo on a hike, you could say, that hiking photo looks impressive. I like the idea of hiking, but my legs often disagree halfway up. Are you a mountain person or more of a scenic walk ending in a pub person? That works because it notices something, adds a bit of you and gives them an easy way in. If they mention cooking, you could say, your pasta photo looks suspiciously professional. Are you actually good at cooking or just very talented at lighting? If they have a dog, you could say, your dog looks like they run the household. Am I right? Simple, playful, easy. The point is to create a little spark, not write an entire novel. Nobody wants to open the dating app and find chapter 4 of your autobiography waiting for them. And when someone replies, give them something back, please. A lot of people complain that conversations are boring, but then they answer with the emotional range of a parking meter. If someone says, how was your weekend? And you say, good thanks, you have handed them absolutely nothing. Give them a hook. You could say, really nice, thank you. I went for a long walk, found a cafe that may now have full custody of my loyalty, and remembered I'm dangerously weak around cinnamon buns. Now they can ask about the cafe, the walk, or the cinnamon bun addiction. You have opened doors, and conversations need doors. Otherwise, you're both just standing in a conversational corridor saying, yeah, good thanks, until one of you loses the will to live. The seventh mistake I see all the time with my dating coaching clients is staying on the app too long. This is where people lose so much momentum. They match, they message more, they keep messaging, they talk about work, siblings, holidays, favourite crisps, childhood pets, mild trauma, dinner plans, weekend plans, evening plans, weather, and suddenly 3 weeks have passed and nobody has met. A dating app is there to create a date. It is not supposed to be a Victorian letter-writing romance conducted through tiny blue bubbles. Once there is warmth, mutual interest and a bit of flow, move it forwards. You can say, I'm enjoying chatting. Shall we see if this works as well over coffee? Or you seem fun. Fancy continuing this over a drink this week. Or even, I feel like this conversation deserves better than app messages. Want to meet for a quick coffee? It does not need to be dramatic and does not need to be perfect. Just move things into real life before the energy dissipates. Because this is what happens. People get distracted. Other matches appear, work gets busy, the novelty fades, and suddenly a perfectly decent match becomes another dead conversation for the collection. Momentum matters. Romance needs a bit of oxygen. It cannot survive forever inside the chat box next to 3 old matches and a notification from Duolingo. The 8th mistake is ignoring the type of person that you are choosing. Sometimes the profile is good, the photos are good, and the messages are fine, but the person keeps choosing people who are never going to be right for them. Emotionally unavailable people, vague people, people who are clearly after something casual when you want commitment, people who live miles away with no realistic plan to meet, people who are exciting but inconsistent, and people who give you anxiety while you call it chemistry. So I want you right now to look at your patterns. Are you matching with people because they look good or because they seem aligned? Are you choosing people who show effort or people who make you work for attention? Are you giving them too much energy just for someone to say that you are attractive? Are you ignoring what their profile actually says? Because many people tell you who they are. If someone writes, just seeing what's out there, believe them. If someone says, not sure what I'm looking for, take that seriously. If someone says, recently out of something complicated, do not immediately volunteer to become their emotional support human with optional romance. Listen to the clues. Read the profile, watch the behaviour, and remember that you are not just trying to get chosen, you are choosing to. That shift is massive for so many of my coaching clients. The 9th mistake is not reading the feedback. Dating apps do give you feedback, even when it's annoying. So instead of taking everything personally, get curious. If you are not getting matches, look at your photos and first impression. If you're getting matches but no replies, look at your openers and profile hooks. If you're getting replies but no dates, look at your conversation flow and timing. If you're getting dates but no second dates, look at your in-person energy, confidence and chemistry. If you're only attracting people who want casual, look at the signals that your profile is sending. If you are attracting people that you would never meet, look at whether your profile is simply too vague. This is where it becomes useful rather than emotional, because some people just think dating apps suck. And yep, sometimes they do. Some days they feel like someone had turned human connection into a badly organised car boot sale. But the most useful question is this: what is the pattern telling me? Patterns are gold when you know how to read them. And this is a big part of what I do as a dating coach. I look at what is happening and I help people see what they cannot see by themselves. Because when it's your own dating life, it feels personal. When I look at it, I can see the strategy. I can see the profile issue, the messaging issue, the confidence issue, and the pattern in who you are choosing. Often, a few changes can make a huge difference. Now, the 10th mistake, the final mistake, is expecting the app to do all the work. A dating app can introduce you to people, but it cannot make you confident, teach you how to flirt, tell you when matches are emotionally available, fix your photos, make your profile sound like you, or stop you over-investing in someone who replies every 3 business days as if they're communicating by a carrier pigeon. That part needs self-awareness, practice, and sometimes coaching. Now, I say that because I've seen it thousands and thousands of times. Someone thinks that they're bad at dating when really they have never been shown how to date in a way that suits who they are. They have been guessing. They have been copying what everyone else does. They have just been asking friends who mean well, but their friends either say, "You're amazing, babe. Just be yourself," which is lovely, but not always useful when your Hinge profile looks like a hostage note from your personality. The right help can save you months or even years. So let's pull this together for you. If your dating apps are not working, I want you to check a few things. Are your photos current, warm and varied? Does your profile sound like you, or does it sound like everyone else? Are you giving people easy things to respond to? Are you leading with warmth instead of frustration? Are you showing your best qualities clearly? Are your messages specific and playful? Are you moving from chat to date before the energy fades? Are you choosing people who actually want what you want? Are you reading the patterns instead of taking everything as rejection? And are you expecting the app to solve something that needs a proper strategy? Because the truth is, dating apps can work. They do work for some people, but they work best when you use them intentionally. They work when your profile has personality, your photos tell the right story, your messages create momentum, your standards are clear, and you know how to spot people who are worth your time. So if you're sitting there thinking, right, James, I think my profile might just be the problem, then please don't sit there trying to diagnose it alone for another 6 months while occasionally changing one photo and hoping that the algorithm suddenly applauds. This is exactly what I help people with. I offer dating coaching and dating profile reviews where I will look at your dating app profile properly. I'll tell you what's working, what is holding you back, what your photos are saying, how your prompts are coming across, and what changes will give you a better chance of attracting the right people. I'm honest, kind and practical, but also quite direct. No fluff, no judgment, and no generic just smile more advice, because unless you're actively scowling at the camera like someone stole your parking space, we can probably go a little bit deeper than that. We'll make your profile feel more like you, but the version of you that actually gets noticed by the kind of person that you want to meet. And if you want deeper help with your dating life, whether that's confidence, messaging, choosing better people, dating after a breakup, or finally understanding why things keep going wrong, you can book coaching with me too. And you can find everything at jamespreece.com. So if this episode made you realise that your profile might be quietly sabotaging your love life, take that as a good sign. Because once you can see the problem, you can change it. Dating should not feel like shouting into the void while an algorithm judges your holiday photos. It can be lighter, smarter, more fun, and with the right tweaks, it can start giving you much better opportunities. So that's it from me today. I really just wanted to give you a special episode just to celebrate the fact that so many of my clients have taken my advice and now they're getting married. So if you found this helpful, please do follow or subscribe to the Love Machine podcast, whatever platform you're on. I really appreciate it. And if you're feeling particularly lovely, write me a review, because that absolutely helps the algorithm in the same way that dating apps need a bit of a kick to get them working. And of course, please do send this episode to a friend whose dating profile currently needs a small, compassionate intervention. I'm James Preece, and I'll see you next week on the Love Machine podcast. Thanks so much for listening.